Okay, guys, now in this little thing right here, we've got our nice little gun posed and everything else. Now, a few little tips and things of that nature is this rig really sucks, so I'll probably end up cutting the video and going to my rig instead. Only because I don't like how it's weighed for the arms and stuff like that. And on mine that I use, I won't get this kind of funny stuff. Now I can go into wave painting and fix some of it and things, so it's not influencing so badly right here. But what I'm gonna do is probably gonna be a lot harder anyway than what it actually. It took me quite a while to get it to pose in this position right here. This is a very difficult rig for this type. It's because the mesh deform is too strong in certain parts where it shouldn't be, and I could probably fix it if I go in the wave paint. Like this part right here, how it's twisted so much. If I wanted to and stuff, I can go in object and then go into wave paint. Go into the vertice groups. And left clavicle, neck, foot, shoulder. Okay, and this upper arm. See how this is a little green? This is probably a lot more fine than what I give it credit. Let's see if we can get some subtraction here. It doesn't cooperate very well. That's okay. Let's go into the left lower arm. See if we can subtract some of this right here and it not be so bad. Now this is why I hate wave painting, because every time I turn around and I do stuff like this, it wants to act really weird. Okay? Which kind of blows. That's why I hate to do this on a video, because you actually have to sit here and really work at it. And I mean really work at it. This one should influence this all the way anyway. Now we don't got that twist. And this is pretty much wave painting. I mean, obviously this isn't right and everything, but it gets that twist out of there a lot. And then you always got these little areas right here on the mesh. For some reason, they just don't want to cooperate, right? So you're sitting there driving yourself bonkers trying to figure out, and then you do that. There's also face selection for this, where you can select a face and things. And don't get me wrong, it kind of helps, but it doesn't really, it still doesn't help me too much. Which I think this is one of the areas that ain't that great in Blender, you know? I mean, if I were to create my own mesh and stuff, I would have extra bones for vertice groups and stuff, but it just doesn't act like it wants to be made correctly. This is where Maya excels. When it comes to wave painting, I think Maya is a lot better than Blender in this area, but that's just my thing. But that's what it is. See, each one of these vertice groups is assigned to a bone. Like, and what you do is you take these vertices and you know, just paint, right? But anyway, I'm gonna try to get rid of all this crap that I just done. Okay, and it doesn't want to cooperate. Awesome. So that wave painting doesn't unbuff. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Rig base, not that. Oh, great. Alright, so this is one of those areas where this really sucks. Alright, so and we don't have anything else. Alright. So we're gonna go after doing this. Now, in this mesh, it kind of sucks because this mesh doesn't act exactly the way it should. We are going to use, yeah, we're going to go up here, and instead of it's the outliner, we're going to go into a 3D view. Oh, we got to put a camera in the scene. So let's go in the object. This little object mode thingy here. We're going to go into add camera. And we'll raise this up some. Go here and see these lines. This is how you tell what axis you're on and things. So we're going to probably rotate on the Y. No. So we rotate on the Z. No. So it'll be X. Alright. And this right here looks like 90. This should be 0. Because it goes from like left and right, like you're driving a car. That's the Y. And the Z will be 180. Nice round number. And we should get a nice straight looking camera, right? Position on the X, 0. Y, 1. See, it'll go 1 unit this way. And the Z will make sure it's a nice 1 unit for now. Now we go over here to our little view, and we hit 1. Okay, and we scroll in with the mouse wheel. And everything that's in this view is probably going to be used with our Unity view. So this messed up arm right here doesn't even matter because it's not in view, right? So if it's all messed up like it is right now and everything else, it shouldn't matter to us, right? Because we can't see it. Alright, now, there's the gun, about right there. So, as you can see, our arm right here is far too high for anything that we would need. So, we're going to take this and we're just going to move the arm completely like this. This is the shoulder bone. We're going to move it way down. Alright? And we're going to move this like this because it doesn't matter. We don't see it. Who cares, right? And that actually turned out pretty okay right there. Usually I'll take my mesh and I'll cut this piece off. I'll only have like this much here. Same with this. I'll usually cut this piece right here off. But since we're doing a rifle and stuff, we might see this, but we'll never see this. Never. You'll never see this. Not unless you like do something stupid with your camera and stuff. You'll never see this part of the mesh. So this deform right here, I wouldn't even worry about it because it's pointless to, worry about something that's completely irrelevant, right? It's like going up to a car salesman and saying, "Don't lie to me," because they're just going to lie to you anyway. I mean, come on, they're in the business of trying to sell you their junk. So of course they're going to lie to you. They want money. They've got bills to pay just like everybody else. Doesn't mean there ain't honest ones, but come on. For every honest one, there's a dishonest one. Now, since we have a relative certain position here, okay, that's pretty relevant. It don't look too bad. I mean, yeah, it sort of looks a little twisted. I'm not too particularly happy with this here. Maybe we can get it to go here and then maybe like this. Now we take our main bone here and go back into this. No, that looks bad. That looks terrible. Looked better. Kind of that way. Not exactly too fond of it. But let's not spend like a half an hour or so trying to get this to look great, because that isn't what you're here to view, right? You want to see stuff that, rigging a gun, let's say, the actual rigging of a gun, not how to place fingers and stuff, because that's pretty much just time consuming, right? I'm just going to quickly place these fingers, and this is where an IOK rig is really strong, because you can take stuff like this and just go and not have to worry and make a little adjustments here and there, and the fingers is somewhat there, okay? But like I said, there's a better way of doing this. I don't really like this mesh, but it's something that I can work with just to show you how this all works at the moment. Not saying I'm happy with it, but that's how it can go. Now, we have this pose here. We have our gun. Now, we're going to go up here to our property thing, okay? On our outline, see that we have this AK body cube 3, okay, this is an object and this is an object, okay. In order for Unity to recognize it as all one object and not have one move and then the other doesn't, you need to parent this to your armature, which this will be your armature, your rig. Let's say rig, all right, because this rig is your baseline object. It will have, when you import it, it'll put an animator component on it, and then everything below it, the animator will animate, right? Well, if this gets exported with two different objects, then this one gets an animator and this one gets an animator. I know it's kind of hard probably to see, and there's really not much I can do about it when it comes to view right here. But you take your rig itself, click on it from here, and then you click on this. Wait, you'll click on the AK body right here, the entire AK, and then you will click on your rig with, shift, hell, there we go. Words are hard, man, words are hard. And you go Control P, and you want to parent the object. Okay. Now, for some reason, it went. Oh, yeah. Because the last thing I selected was AK mag. Why is that doing parent keep transform? Okay, that is part of the AK. So we're going to go AK and then select this, and we should be perfectly fine. Keep transform. Alright, there you go. The first thing that you select must be the thing that you want to parent something to. Like, let's say AK, and you want the parent of the AK to be your rig. So you select the AK first, then go to your rig and select it last. And it has to be in object mode. You could probably do it in pose, but it's best to do it in object mode. And another thing is, as you can see, like, remember when I moved this right here? When you're in pose mode and you have auto IK on, it won't let you move it. I mean, it'll let you do certain things, but it won't move like I did. Like, for instance, something like this. Okay, it won't do it. Alright, when auto IK is on, it won't do it. It'll just rotate and stuff. Which, it get on my nerves for a long time and stuff, but, it's just one of those things that it does, right? It's like, okay, you gotta change your socks every day. Why? Because, they stink. You just gotta do it. But, yeah, and that is parenting this to this. Now, for the next part, this is going to deal with bones and stuff. Now, I'm only going to do the magazine, okay? Because the magazine is all I care about. It's just the way it is, alright? Now, notice this location and everything, and then this has a rotation. I don't want this to have a rotation. This should never be rotation or anything like that. So we're going to do something about that. Okay, the actual Location and rotation I don't like. The scale is all weird as well. So we're going to go up here to object. We're going to go apply location, and it'll bring a transform stuff. Okay, you'll do apply location, rotation, and scale. And if you view these checkboxes, you see that this goes to 111. So this will always be this way no matter what for this. If we uncheck it and check it, okay, so we're applying this and saying, hey, this is how this works. Now we want to do the same thing to the AK. You don't want to go to clear. You want to go to apply. Location, rotation, scale. And I'll explain why in a few. Okay. Now for the gun, what I like to do is make a bone inside the hand and then have the gun parent to that bone and stuff. But we're going to do a child object modifier this time. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go click on our armature here. We're going to go in edit mode. Okay, and how you know edit mode is down here. Alright, now a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make a bone right off here. Alright, which I guess we could, and all you're going to have to do is go extrude. Okay, and don't have the dot, but have the entire stick. If you find it hard to work with the stick bones, go up to here and you can put T-bones, envelope, dots, octagons, but I work with stick. Then you will go Alt-P, disconnect bone. Okay, this will allow me to place this bone anywhere that I want. Okay, so if I want to place, let's say, the bone right here in his hand, then I can. Alright, and I can rotate it and everything, and you know, I mean, it's a thing, right? Alright, but the most important thing that we need to do is to go down here, and you see how I got these kind of root bones here? This bone right here that deals with everything. I'm going to go down here, I'm going to extrude off a bone. Okay, then I'm going to go Alt-P, disconnect, then go R. Why did it not rotate? There we go. Okay. I don't need it to be huge like that. Alright. And this has been disconnected, but it's still part of that armature. And we're going to shove this inside of our nice little gun here. Still don't need it that big, and there we go. Alright, so we're going to have to name this bone. instead of rig. Wait, is it the name of the bone? Yeah, it is that. I'm thinking it's actually, yeah, it is. I keep thinking it's not the name of the bone for some reason. But this is the name of it, okay? And wait, do I got the right bone? That would have been the wrist. Go in the rest position, weirdo. That's what that button is really good for. Go into the body and then go in the rest. Because when you start working with bones inside the gun, it can become, just tiresome dealing with all those bones in this same screen. I can also hide them, but then I gotta unhide them, then hide them again. And it becomes a pain in the butt after a while. So we're gonna call this gun. We're gonna go to this, and then we're gonna hit the bone. Okay? Now we're going to do a bone here. Alright. Now, you see how this is parented? Now if I go into this right here, I should be able to move this around and be perfectly legit. Oh, whoops. Oh, and it changed the thing here. But that's going to be irrelevant in a minute. It's because of the pose positioning and stuff like that. Wait, can we change that? Okay, yeah, there we go. So click on the gun and then this. And then we'll go to parent again. And if we do just the thing and don't have the keep transform, will it stay in the position? And that's the difference between both of them. Sometimes you want to keep the transform, and other times you do not. Because if you, like me, and you didn't put the bone in, if you put keep transform, it goes all wicked on you, and then you got to place all your stuff again, which kind of sucks. Now, for the pose position, okay, very important. Click on the bone that you have in your wrist, okay, and you're going to make sure you're going to call it something like hand gun target. And if I spell handgun target, okay, something that you'll remember, and it's not as important as you think, but it's so you can find it. Now you want to go up to, let's go into our rig here. We're going to go into rest position. That's one reason why this is here. We're going to click on this bone here, and we're going to add a child constraint. Okay, now this child constraint, we're going to put a child of. Okay, child of. We're going to target our rig. Okay, and the bone we're going to target is our hand gun target. Okay, now we have this all set up like this. Alright, now we're going to go in here and not have this in rest position. Okay, so we have the modifier, it's a child of. We're going to set the inverse. Okay, now if this went all crazy and everything else and the gun went somewhere else, push set inverse and it'll probably snap back to it, okay? But if you remember when we done this, okay, for our gun, and we applied the transform rotation, location, and everything, because we did that, it had no problem doing the child stuff. Can I change that now? I don't think I can undo that and show you the problem now. Now, if you did follow exactly what I did, you should not have a problem. If you do, then you forgot something that was in the video. And that's the only reason it went all crazy for you. Okay? Make sure you follow every step up until this point. Exactly. Or it could give you hissy fits. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, the bone's moving, but the gun isn't. That's interesting. What happened to my... What? This is the gun, right? Rig, handgun, target. And then this is the spine 3. Okay, I'm confused. Okay, so if I move this, the gun doesn't move, right? Are you freaking serious? Is it because I was in... Okay, so this right here, rest position. This is the material. Okay, and we should be part of the rig and armature. No, bone. Okay, so now let's go out of rest position. Okay, so it's now doing that. Alright. Okay, I can live with that. I mean, it's not exactly what I had in mind, but... So where's the child constraint again? There we go. So it did do what I was expecting. Whoa. Alright. Well, that's no big deal. Because all you have to do is afterwards go and place your object where it used to be anyway. Not a big deal, because I had it lined up pretty well with the grab. We're going to go Y position, and I'm going to go into orthographic. Okay, and go grab and hit Z for the downward. That looks roughly about right. Okay, and we have liftoff. Okay, so it's all set up and everything. Okay, good. Let's go into 3D view, and that's what it will look like. Now, to pan around like this and everything else, you hold your middle mouse button and you hold shift. If it does this, it's because you're scrolling. If you hold your middle mouse and move your mouse around, it will do this. And then you hit on your number cat 0 and you're back in this. Okay? So everything's ready for us to go to town except for the magazine. The magazine, we should really have a bone for that. So we've got the hand. Now we need the bone for our other stuff. So okay, rest position, we'll go up to here, and we'll go into edit mode. Okay, we're going to branch off a bone here with extrusion, which is E. Okay, and then we will do the same where we do Alt P, disconnect it. Okay, and that's all we really need for the magazine. Besides, you know, the whole naming it mag bone. That's what I'm gonna call it anyway. And then we'll go into object mode, and we will go click on the magazine, and we're gonna click on that bone, and then we'll hit Control P, and there we go. So now, if I go into pose mode, I should be able to hit G. Oh, because I'm in rest position, because I don't want the arms in my way. And now this bone controls the magazine. Okay, it does everything that we need. So we'll hit this, and there you go. Now, for the bone's position, rotation, and stuff, it's all zeroed out real nicely for us, which is nice. Because if we ever go and mess up its rotation and location and stuff, like, we can always go up here and go 0, 0, 0, and go 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay? And that will bring us into a resting state. Okay? Which is nice because, you know, stuff happens. So we've got our hands all positioned. I mean, they're not the greatest because of the mesh, you know, but, you know, that's all there is to it. Okay, and that's basically rigging the magazine. and rigging the gun to parent to this. Now, what's nice about this is, okay, let's say we have our gun moving around like this and everything. Alright. But I'll warn you, if you have problems with floating around and stuff, like you go up to here and it floats, it's because you took the gun, when you done your gun stuff, you did not apply the transform rotation and location stuff. So that information has vectors there. So when it's trying to interpolate that, it's got extra noise in there and it doesn't stay where it's supposed to. So remember to do that, or it's going to go all whacked out on you, okay? And you're going to be all frustrated because, well, it's not working the way it should. Oh. For the next part, we're going to have to do something for the gun, the magazine. Because this magazine, we're going to have to snap it to the hand. So, yeah. So we're going to take this bone right here and add a modifier to it. Okay? And we're going to put a child of action. Okay? It just has to exist right now. We're going to do the target, the rig, the bone. We're going to do the left hand. What's this bone called right here in the hand? Wrist elbow. Okay. So wrist elbow. Okay. Now we only have to have this do its thing and everything else. For the animator and all that stuff, it just has to exist, right? So now, when we move our stuff, we move here, okay? We just need it to exist and already be a part of the armature right now, okay? We don't have to have it placed in here or anything. Because as soon as I go into this child stuff and we put the influence to 0, it snaps back, okay? And this is the state that it's going to be in at all times. When we go to animate, we're going to have it recorded where it's here, okay? And that's pretty much how you can rig up kind of a rundown on how to use constraints. I mean, you'll just have your influence, and then let's say you want it to be over here in the hand. And I know it's not going to be perfect or anything like that, but there you go. It's in the hand. That's your 100% influence, okay? But with your 0 influence, it should be not there. Okay. 100% influence. Why is that acting so stupid? Is it because the inverse isn't set? So this is 0. And should translate this fine. Is that what they corrected in the new version of Blender? So that's the 100% influence, and it should snap back to its old position from there. Really? Huh. That's interesting. Hmm. That's very interesting. Why is the child of restraints not acting like it should? Well, anyway, when we go to animate it, all we gotta do is... The only thing that we're actually using it for is when we go to this wrist bone and move. See how it moves with it? That's all we really need. And is it doing that floating stuff? No. Huh. It's kind of weird, but it doesn't matter. Because when we go to this, we can always, when we get really, really close, set our inverse to 0. And go bloop, bloop, bloop. And bloop, 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 bloop. And it's back to that. So full influence, 0 influence, full influence. The animator will record it. It'll be fine. But the modifier is just for so we can have it move around with this. Because when you go to pull up and put your magazine in, you're going to want it to you want it to follow your hand. And that's how you can have it follow your hand. I mean, it really is. Okay, see how it just follows and everything else? That's what you want. And once you place it in the hand, like let's say you're in the keyframe of 80, okay, and you go to 81, that keyframe's so quick, the human eye will never pick that up, okay? Going from 1 influence to 0, and you'll see that, okay? I've got many keyframes like that, it'll never see it, because it's just so fast. Okay, and that's how you can rig a magazine to do what you want. I mean, it's the easiest thing you could possibly. Now, if you want to do some other stuff like this part, just put a bone to it, okay, and you want to do like the trigger. I'm not saying you should do it, but you can. You just break off a bone from your main part of your gun, like we did for the magazine, and do it to every piece of the gun. The pullback, which this gun doesn't have a pullback, which is kind of dumb. It should, right? I know it's over here somewhere, but I don't think they really model one with it, which this model isn't mine. I just took it right off the asset store just for tutorial stuff, but that's how you do that as well. You know, you just rig all the stuff that needs to move with bones, and that's your cake and candy. See, with this influence all the way up, it gives you a different transform space. Okay? But when the influence is gone, there you go. It snaps back. That's kind of nice. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's anything weird or nothing, but it is what it is. So, actually, in all honesty, this is actually ready for animating. Now, the next part of this is a subject that I've been wanting to do a tutorial about because it is epically awesome. Okay, it's a nice little blender feature. Okay, now after you have all your bones, I mean all the bones, everything that moves all rigged up. I'm not saying, because this can only work when all the bones are done. Okay, you're going to go in here to your tool thing. You're going to go into the body. And you see this pose library? You're going to create a new. You're going to hit new. You're going to hit the plus sign pretty shortly. But before you do that, I want you to click on your armature. Okay, you've got one of the bones selected. Hit A to deselect everything, and hit A again. This selects every bone in your armature. What I want you to do is go up here to your tool shelf and go add to library. Okay, does new, and there you go. Now it adds a new pose into a pose library. Okay, so we're going to hit this rest pose. Okay, now what this is it will keep the position of every single bone that was selected in your library, but the bone has to exist. Okay, so now that we have all this in here and it's recorded, I'm going to take and I'm going to show you exactly why you don't. This is awesome. Take this, I'm going to hit Alt A. Every single one of my bones is all messed up, right? I mean, we can go in here, we can go in here, we can go into here and put it like, and it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Now, select one of your bones, hit Alt, double A, go over here to your pose library. You see this little icon that's got the magnifying glass on there? Click it, and it will do that. Okay? So, it placed all this stuff in here that it used to be in. Okay? So, let's say I've got this, and I went and rotated this again, and we can go over here to our pose library with only this bone selected. With only this bone selected, we can hit the little magnifying glass again. Bam. It places it again. So, just as an example, I'm going to go C. I'm going to select all the bones right here. See all the bones. I'm going to reset them into an open state that looks cockeyed. Okay. I'm going to mess this one up. But watch this. If I go over here and select only these bones, we can go over here to our magnifying glass and look. Boom. Okay. See how it closed the hand and everything else? That's exactly what it's going to do is apply that. Now I'm going to hit Alt R, and there you go. So whatever bone you have selected, whatever your library pose had, it will use that and apply it. So you can use this for specific areas of your armature. That's what's really cool. Just like this right here, we can grab this, boom, it's still selected. And let's say we don't know what this positioning and stuff is and everything else. We have it in our pose library. So we can go over here with only this bone selected and hit apply. And it will snap it back. But let's say, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is cool and all, but let's say I'm up here in a reload animation and I want to shove my magazine all the way up here and then I want it to close. Well, what the pose library will do is it should snap it back in place. See what I'm saying? So it will use the active bone that you're messing with. Okay? So you can use this to help you with referencing, like getting it back into the rest position and placing objects in certain places, the exact position that it needs to be in, like our magazine. Or let's say you want to, pull your gun up and you've got a bunch of noise on maybe your elbow or something, like here, and you're just moving it around a lot, but you want it to all be in the rest position again. So in this frame, like let's say 0, and in frame 20, you want your entire armature to be in the rest. Well, you can do it. And then you can just let Blender interpolate from there to there. Now, in between 0 and 20, you're going to put some noise, a little bit of elbow movement, make it look a lot more lively. But I find that this feature right here with the pose library will give you what you need to make highly with high precision on certain poses that you have. Like this position right here, if we didn't have it in the pose library, we could never get it perfectly back in there, right? It would suck and it wouldn't work. Now, when we do the reload animation stuff, we can go and take this bone, take it out here, and let's say we snap our magazine over here. Okay, and well, we're gonna put this here, okay, and I mean, look at all these fingers. This works for the gun, but it doesn't work for the magazine. And you're just like, well, I mean, it's not working for us, so we've got to take our fingers, and that looks cool, right? I mean, it's not perfect for our case, but let's say it is perfect. Well, we can go into our pose library, select one bone, okay, so everything is deselected, okay, hit C for this little circle icon, select all these bones right here, in your wrist bone probably, whatever bones you want, and we'll go up here to our tool shelf, and we can add this active pose to the library, okay, and we will be doing a new pose, mag hand, right? And that's what this is going to be for, okay? So we'll select everything in the rig, apply this one, okay, we'll go, let's say here, and we'll move the arm, mag, well, that's for the arm, right? But what about the magazine? Bloop, back in the hand, right there. And if we go to our constraints, which are somewhere, and we go 100%, and of course it'll float off into no land because it's weird like that. And that sometimes happens, so we'll have to correct that. Boom. Right? Now, I'm not going to spend super amount of time getting this perfectly in there, but give you guys the idea. Okay? Because you don't want to see me sit here and do this for 100 years, right? Because you'd much rather be. Now, and get a little bit of positioning here. Okay, so because we changed this, we'll go into here, right? And then we can go up to, okay, did you seriously just freeze on me or something? Oh, you did. Really? Oh, no, it's because I gotta get off that, right? We can go add to library. We'll go replace existing, and we'll go mag hand, okay? So just as an example, oh, we've got to take the child constraint off, and it acts stupid, but that's okay, because we're going to go up to our pose library, and we're going to apply everything, and your magazine will now be in there. So, and for the mag pole, now we're going to apply that, but in the same frame, we're also going to be applying our modifier, which should fix our positioning problem. And there you go. And that's it in its hand. Boom, boom, boom. Movie, movie, movie. And there you go. And now you can go up here and, take your whole auto IK on there and go, hey, alright. And then, just do the whole thing backwards. It takes an incredible amount of time to get this perfectly in position, and every gun's different. But with the pose library and some of the constraints in this video, I do believe you'll have all the tools that you need. I would do a fancier job in placement and stuff like that, but like I said, that's going to take a lot more time. And this video is already going to be over an hour long. Okay? So, let's try not to keep you guys, doing that kind of stuff, right? An hour-long video and more is ridiculous, but these are all the topics that should give you the ability to, move around a rig, and use the libraries and basically animate anything you want. It's not going to be hard for you to rig a gun or anything of that nature. And, you know, hand, boom, there you go. I mean, it's just a matter of manipulating these transforms to make it look good, right? I mean, that's all it is. You know, I mean, that's all you gotta do is, you know, keep manipulating these transforms to make a rig and animate. And the keyframing itself isn't that hard. It will probably be in the next video on how to do the keyframing, but this video has gone way longer than what it should. So I'm going to let you guys go, and remember to like, hit subscribe and stuff if you want to see more. And I hope this helped you in understanding how it works for rigging and stuff. I'll try to hit some other topics before, but I do believe you guys should have everything you need for, you know, the hand placement and all that stuff. But thanks for watching, and this is Wardon over and out.